All right, everybody, thank you for joining me again for another episode of The Drop Off, man. Today I have the most special guest, a guest truly important to me, DJ D-Foss. DJ D-Foss, thank you for coming through.
Man, appreciate it, man. What's up, man? I was, when I first seen the show, man, I was like, you know what? That's a cold idea. I love the niche of it. I said, man, look, as soon as I'm available, I'm coming through. You know what I mean? As soon as I'm available. So I appreciate you for having me, and I appreciate you for putting this out, man. I knew, like, the podcast game was in you. You know what I mean? And just to see, like, how you turn to this corner, I'm like, man, I bet I'm with that. You know what I mean? I'm with it.
Listen, I appreciate it because I did not know it was for me.
Yeah.
I was not really aware to the degree of, I think this is something I really want to do. And who really put me on to that was Jeremy Richardson.
Jeremy Richardson, yep.
He asked me to be a guest on his show.
I remember that, yeah.
And just being in the I think his original show, he had me, I think we went to a radio station.
Yep.
And we recorded at a radio station.
It was the Barstool podcast then, right? Yep.
Yep.
I remember that app. Yep.
And I just remember walking in and, like, as soon as I sat down and just hearing myself on the mic, I'm like, uh-oh.
This is right. It sounds like home, huh?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shout out to Jeremy, man.
Yeah, for sure. Jeremy, if you listen to this, man, please come be a guest, man. My original inspiration for what I'm doing right now. I would love to have you, man.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get started. Question number one. DJ D-Foss, how did you become a UPS driver?
Okay, so it was I had a partner from the my DJ record pool named Roy McAllister, right? He had been there like back in the day, back in the 80s, but he knew, July, remember July the janitor?
Yeah.
So his boy was July, right? And July was still working there. He said, hey, man, I'm going to holler at my boy July, I can get you up in there. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he locked up with July. That was back when, they had human resources. You can just refer somebody. You can take somebody up. Hey, boom, like this, right? So it was November 2005. And, I got in there and everything. July said, man, I was at the orientation. I was in there falling asleep. I'm like, oh, man. And so he said, man, if you want to do it, man, I'll talk to somebody. I said, okay, it's cool, man. So, boom, I start preloading. That was hard, man. I didn't realize how hard it was. A
lot of people don't know how hard that is.
It's harder than driving to me, bro. I was getting stuff wrong, messing up people's trucks and all. I'm just like, man, this is crazy, man. They want you to load 3 trucks and get it right and hurry up.
I've messed up many a man's truck.
I'm like, man, are you serious, bro? So I'm looking, right, and I'm seeing, hollering at the drivers, hollering at like Gary Hart and them, hollering at Jesse George and Al Thyman. I'm just seeing, I'm like, you know what? I think that's going to be my next move, man. I think I'm coming for that, man. So I could have actually went in 3 months, which has how crazy that was. That's how fast the city was growing. And I'm like, nah, let me talk to some more people. Let me kind of do some more research.
Okay.
And let me see what the game's about. I'm talking to them and stuff. So then finally in 6 months, which was June of 2006, I went ahead and went driving, right? Summertime, almost the worst time.
6 months?
6 months. I could have went in 3 months, dog. And it's so crazy because other cities, big cities like New York, Chicago, people be waiting like 10 years.
Yeah, man. In California, right, when I was in college out there, and I had made the decision, like, all right, I think I'm going to try to get on that UPS. I originally inquired out there, and I heard, yeah, man, it's going to take 7 to 10.
Ain't that crazy, dude?
That's wild.
Like, the list is that long, right? Boom, so 6 months. I was in there, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, just trying to feel my way around. Like I came at that time, I came straight from, I was selling, what timeshare is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was selling timeshare on the strip. So it was like a whole nother industry, bro. I came from, I was in a suit talking to people every day. The most I ever made doing timeshare was $3,000 in one day. I did 2 deals back to back, right? So I'm coming from that world into this world, this physical labor. And it was like the concept was foreign to me, man.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and so, I kind of had a hard time the first time. Steve Olson was my trainer. And Lou Shank, he was our center manager then. And so
I never got to meet Lou, but I definitely heard about him.
Lou was straight, man. Lou was, and I learned, like, with Lou, it was a difference between a leader and a manager.
Okay.
A manager just, watches numbers and pushes you, but a leader inspires you to want to do a good job. He had everybody off by 4 or 5 o'clock every day. I don't know who he knew or what he did, but he had everybody off by 4 or 5 o'clock every day.
I'm gonna come back to that.
Yeah.
Because for one, I've never heard that before. Mm-hmm. The difference between a leader and a manager.
Big difference.
And I would like to know, who in the building do you see as being a good leader? Mm-hmm. So we'll come back to that. I'm gonna come back to that.
Yeah, and so that's how it started, man. And I remember, they give you the little 30-day run or whatever. And I wasn't cutting it, bro. I had like a bad, and I didn't know at the time. I had probably one of the worst routes on the east side. It was a garbage route, man. Schools and all this stuff like that. Schools, apartments, it was garbage, man. And so it was about 30 days in, and they was like, I don't know if you can make it. I don't know if you're gonna make it, man. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm probably cool on this, dude. I was taking a sandwich every day. I was taking a cold sandwich every day. Never could take my break. At the end of the day, the cold sandwich was like a grilled cheese because it was hot. And I'm like, you know what? It was like the fork in the road moment. I'm like, you know what? Well, maybe it ain't for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I said, man, this is ridiculous, man. I'm sweating, getting dehydrated and everything.
I remember the first time I seen you out on road, and I was doing, this was, I think, maybe the route before your new one, or
probably the old one.
Yeah, because I was doing Javier Garcia's route.
Okay.
And I remember you pulled up on me. You was like, J.Love, you all right?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, no.
Yeah, and that's one of the top 5 worst routes of all time.
So I almost got fired on that route like 3 times.
For real?
Man, that's a struggling man's route.
Man, that's a hard route, dude.
Because you told me, you was like, yeah, J.Love, I understand you can't even stop for 5 minutes to take a piss on this route. You just got to continually move and move and move. And then you just said, the route that you did your 30 days on was a garbage route. Listen, I did your old route. I ain't like that route either.
Yeah. But it's just like anything, you get it down. But I realized like that route I had was one of the better routes on the east side. But it was a lot of humping. But that route, old boy Garcia's route, he was on it like all his life, so he knew it inside and out. But it man, it's trash, man.
I did it so many times, I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, and it's too much. And the only thing about U.P.S, dude, is like it's the only place where you get punished for being good.
Yes.
So they say a cat like you,
say
I
that
know
again.
You get punished for being good. So they know like, okay, a cat, if anybody can do it, I'm gonna throw J.Love on it.
That's how I ended up on it.
And that's how you do, and it's like it'll make or break you because like they know you got the potential to do the route, but damn, why y'all keep throwing me on the route? You know what I mean? So just one of those situations, man. But it was definitely like a culture shock, man, because I had to learn what like every route has its own rhythm. Right. Like the pace you got to be at, how it goes slow. So I had to learn the rhythm of just doing routes, man. You know what I mean? But that was essentially how I got in the game, man. Just I was looking at it, but what in hindsight now, you come in and you chasing that carrot, right?
Right.
Because preload, you ain't making that much money, man.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? You trying to get to the bag a minute, right? So I'm chasing the carrot, but you like looking up. But the whole time you don't realize that carrot's on the donkey's back. You know what I mean? If I could do it over, man, I probably would have let them pay for school, man, and got me a job when I'm on some chair on a chair with some rollers on it doing something else, man.
Really?
Yeah. If I probably would, man, just because like it's good money, like, but the long term aspect of it. You know what I mean?
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
And one of my theories I always came up with was like you can make a living, but having a life is sold separately. You know what I mean? Because
everybody, this is why you got to know OGs, because they just be saying fascinating shit that like every other sentence that comes out their mouth just be like a pool of gold. Like, wait, what did you just say?
Yeah. That's what I realized, man. Because only part I really don't like what it is like, the job almost dictates your lifestyle.
That it does.
You know what I mean? Because you be so tired, so wore out, and you got to give all your energy and all that to go and recoup and come back and do it again. It's good money, don't get me wrong. But like I say, that having a life, that's on you. That's sold separately.
1,000%.
You know what I mean?
That's something that, excuse me. That's something that, as long as I've been here, I'm still trying to grab the reins on that.
Yeah.
I haven't fully figured that part out yet.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you give so much time and really energy. It's really the physical and mental energy that you give to the job.
Right.
That once the day is done, man, you're so drained. It's, I don't know if I'm doing anything else.
You pretty much not.
Pretty much done.
You're done
for the day.
Yeah.
So your lady wants to go do something. Your kids want to go do something. You're like, listen, y'all gonna have to do that without me, or you go, but don't be fully present.
Yeah.
Wow.
You there and you like a zombie there or something like that. And I hated that, man. And I tell people, I said, it ain't no 9 to 5.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying? It's a 9 to when you get done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And depending on how much energy you got, like even when I come home sometime, like my wife is cool, and it takes a real woman to understand somebody to work this job, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
1,000%.
So the women got to put up with a lot. We like money rich, but time poor.
Yeah.
And the time we in the deficit. And so she'll be like, well, what you want to eat? I'm like, dude, I don't want to make one more decision.
Yes.
Like your mind has been firing all day. It's like, I don't want to make one more decision.
Do you know why that's so interesting? Because ladies, I hope there's ladies out here, UPS drivers, wives, girlfriends. I hope y'all listening to this.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I will get asked this question all the time. What do you want to eat when you get off?
Yeah.
And it's hard for a lady to understand. Why can't you just decide? But you don't understand. I've made hundreds of decisions today.
And I appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate you even asking, but like, please, like, and then something like that, I just don't want to make one more day, because there's something else I got to think about. And like, you are mentally exhausted and physically exhausted, emotionally. Like, I'm like, man, y'all want, some days I'll be like, man, y'all want too much, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, y'all want too
1,000%.
much, man. So. But that was my entry into driving, man. It was something else, bro.
Okay. So now let me ask you. So what was the plan before before UPS crept up as being an option? What was the original plan? Because like, as I introduced you, you are the legendary DJ D Foss.
Appreciate it.
So what was the plan before this?
It's hard to say, man, because I was always just like looking at jobs like to kind of fund like whatever my entrepreneur stuff was. Like, it was never like I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. I was just like, okay, let me get something that'll help fund this and get this off the ground. Like, I was DJing before I got to UPS. I was selling timeshare before I came to UPS, so I was doing the things on the side. And don't get me wrong, the DJ stuff, I wasn't doing it full time, but I was DJing, I was producing, I was in the music industry, I kind of fell back from that, a little bit, but it really wasn't, man. I was just looking for something, whatever else could help fund whatever I was trying to. I always wanted to be like self-sufficient, like as far as being able to generate money on my own.
Yeah, sovereign. You want to be a sovereign,
even
sovereign man.
if it was, 2 or 3 things, you know what I mean? I always wanted to kind of like, well, at least it could be something that I'm interested in. I could be doing it. You know what I mean? Whether it be the DJing, whether it be producing, whether it be, whatever, some entrepreneur, but I always wanted to be, being able to create my own money. So I said, whatever job I get, it's just going to help feed this till I get something off the ground. But then, you hit UPS 17 years later, it changed everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, I'm grateful for the opportunities it provided, because you can do a lot of stuff with the job. You know what I mean? Invest and stuff. But I think, you gotta have your plan right before you get in there, man. And so I was just running to the next bag, man. You know what I mean? Whatever the next situation was and however it worked out, if I could still do that. But then I start finding out, man, it's starting to want more and more of my time and energy. So I was like, on this side, I couldn't really do as much, because I'm like, man, I had to cut out like my Friday gigs. If I wasn't too tired Saturday, I would do something. But then it's like the job started wanting more and more, so you got to go with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was just running, man, to see, because I started kind of late, bro. I started when I was 35.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay.
I wish I would have, but you get there when you get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'd have started when I was 21, it'd be a different story right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I am finding that out too with the just recently creating the show and doing that. There's not a whole lot of time that I can super dedicate to everything that comes after the interview process, because my time is, like we were saying earlier, my time is so limited. After I get off work, it's like, well, you need to get down on your show notes. You need to start lining next guests up. You need to start thinking about other parts of the business that you want to do. And mentally, I'm like, all right, I just don't even want to think about all this right now.
It's too much. And you know what? I started doing that. And it took me a while to experiment and do it, but that's why, like, and I got to get back to it. I didn't kind of fell off, but I used to get up like maybe about 4:30 or 5, right? I do it sounds crazy, right?
Yeah.
But I was energized.
Yeah, I'm about to tell you,
right?
you nuts right now.
Yeah, I was energized, right? Because I knew this is prime time for me. I like, this is the time I work on my stuff, and then when it comes about 6:37, I start getting ready, right? But I know then I've already got it in for me.
Right.
So by the time I get off, it don't even matter.
Yeah.
I already got it in for me.
You already did what you need to do for yourself.
Yeah, and it was hard because I do other things. So I run a social media marketing company too, and so I DJ, and I do a podcast. I do about 3 or 4 different things. So I try to find little pockets of time where I can get in. I run, our church's whole social media. I run all of that.
Okay.
So it's stuff, I got to do in a certain time frame. I'm editing videos. I'm doing Instagram. I'm doing a lot. So I'm like, creatively, when I get off, I'm burnt, dog. I don't have it.
So I do want to ask you, right? Because you mentioning that you do all of these things, and my last show I was talking to Beck, and he was talking about how one of the things that he's learned from this job is he's learned how to manage his time.
Oh yeah, you gonna respect that.
So in talking to you, it sounds like that may be something that you may have picked up from this job, or maybe you had this talent before. But in order to do all these things that you're doing, you definitely have to know how to manage time well.
You got to have the time, and it took a while. Like I had to find that time, right? Like you say, when you get off, by the time you get off and everything, you look up. And here's what's so crazy about this job too. I usually leave the house about 7:30, right? No matter what, dude. And sometimes it's worse than this. By the time I'm either getting in my truck or driving home, it's 7:30 again.
Yeah.
That's 12
half
hours,
a day.
dog.
That's half a day. You got to sleep for at least 8.
Off the rip.
Yeah.
By the time you get home and eat, settle down, it's 8, 9. Before I know it, every night it's 8 o'clock. I'm like, God, are you serious?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, where else can I find the time at? You know what I mean? And I'm a morning person anyway. A lot of people can't rock like that. So I think you got to find like what works for you if I'm trying to work. Because like everybody has the same 24 hours.
Right.
You're not going to get no more time. It's like, you got to be, how much, you got to bring value to the hour and the time you get. So I'm like, it's a sacrifice too, but I know the stuff that keeps me motivated. When I get up and do it, I done got it in for me. If I'm tired when I get off, I already done done it. You know what I'm saying? I already done dropped that episode. I already done made that mix. I already done updated my website. I done did something for me. You know what I'm saying? Before I go give it to them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And these are waters I'm trying to navigate right now.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Somebody, you doing it, so it can be done.
Yeah.
So I just got to figure out what system is going to work for me, and how am I going to figure that process out.
Even like on the weekend, sometimes you trying to, and the thing about a weekend is so crazy, and it took me a while to figure this out too. We want 2 days off to feel like 5 days of work. You know what I mean? We want, like, it's like so condensed. You're trying to spend time with your family. You're trying to rest. You're trying to kick. And so them 2 days don't add up to 5 days of work.
They don't.
You know what I mean? But we want it in our mind to feel like that. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. It's definitely crazy, bro.
Man. Okay. So let me ask you. So how does your family feel about what you do for a living? Like your wife, I'm assuming you got kids. How do they feel about? You said and grandkids.
Yeah, grandkids. Yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. 5 years old, 6 years old, grandkids. Yeah.
What? Hey, you look good, brother.
I appreciate it, bro.
You look good, brother. To have grandbabies.
Thanks, man. They like it. They have a lot of respect for it because they know it's hard work. They know you out in the sun. Wintertime, like my wife is super understanding, man. My wife's a pastor too.
Okay.
So she's super supportive, super understanding, and it's always, like I say, the time thing, but I guess she's just ain't got good with it, like, and I'm gonna keep it all the way real, like, even like, you get home some nights and like, they might want that to go down, but it's like, that's the last little energy I got. I can't even give that to you, dude, for real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I thoroughly understand.
You know what I mean? And like, I'm sore, hurting.
Listen, my lady would be like, hey, listen, I'm ready. I'm like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
I can't think about it.
And it's a shame, dude. You know what I mean?
This is what I'll tell her. I'll be like, listen, You want this mid? You want this mid grade?
Yeah,
right
mid-grade,
now. You want
right.
this mid grade right now, and then you just gonna be mad at me later, and I can't give you this mid grade too many times for you go looking somewhere else.
Looking somewhere else, right? You might as well catch me off top. Yeah, and that's what I mean.
You better get it in the morning.
Yeah,
when I got the energy,
when you
get
fresh.
it in
That's
the
what I
morning
mean.
when I'm
Like
fresh.
the job dictates everything. You know what I mean? Like how can those 8 to 10 hours reshape everything, dude? But that's what happens, man. But overall, man, they super supportive, man, and they know, like, you know, your family, anybody that's attached to you making this money, they happy because they know, you bringing that bread.
I know
you know what I mean.
Know you very much providing well.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You got a few extra dollars that the average cat don't have. You know what I mean. So they super supportive on that. But at times when I be complaining about it or something like that, they understand. Again, I'm like, you don't understand. It's been days my toenails was hurting. I mean, damn, dog. You know what I mean? Like, what does that to you, bruh? You know what I mean? Like, what does that to you, man?
The only thing that I legitimately know from life experience where you start feeling pains or muscles you didn't know you have is fucking sports.
Yeah, it's sports.
That's the only time, and I remember you was given a PCM one time, and I remember never hearing the term or hearing for the first time the term industrial athlete. Yeah. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. And to me, that's a messed up term, dude, because you think about it like this. That's anybody that makes a living using they physical stuff, their body and all that stuff. But you think about it, an athlete plays like an hour game.
Yeah.
We play like an 8 to 10 hour game. Look how many miles you putting on your body.
I didn't think about that.
Like they play an hour. We play like an 8 to 10 hour game, dog. That's insane. You know what I mean?
I want to raise U.P.S. You hear this? I want to raise.
Yeah,
right
man.
now.
It's insane.
Another
dog.
one. We just got one, but I want another one.
And I didn't see drivers get you getting body parts tore up, man. Like look at Dave Kennedy, bro. He's on his 3rd hip surgery.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew about one of them.
What?
I didn't know the 3rd one.
Yeah, he had 2 of them done. Then he had to go back and get another one done.
I do remember when I first started.
Yeah.
First started driving. I remember something that was obvious to me. There's a whole lot of dudes wearing knee braces in here.
Yeah.
It's and then Ron Love, feeder driver now.
Yep, Ron Love.
But I remember him telling me, he was like, "Hey, J.Love, you do this job long enough. Hey, knees, shoulder, and back. One of them.
One of them gonna go out.
One of them, you gonna have to deal with one of them.
Yeah.
And I think about that as I'm getting older. Like, all right, man, I'm not gonna be young for too much more.
Right, and you just got to take it easy, man, and just pray to God I ain't had nothing serious happen. I mean, I had that little heat exhaustion about a month ago. It was the first time that happened, but I look at everybody. I don't know if it's genetics, lifestyle, or what, but it's almost like guaranteed you're gonna leave with some kind of ailment or some kind of limp. Caston got paid for surgeries, and I'm like, man, but who want to be like by the time you sit down, you all crippled up and hobbled. I don't want to be like that, man. You know what I mean? So it's rough on the body, though, bro. It's definitely rough.
There definitely is hope, though, because I remember when what is it? Derek Christensen. Remember Derek Christensen?
Yeah.
He walked out of here looking well.
He walked out of here straight up.
He did.
Right. And he was the model for it. That dude. I was born in 71. I just turned 51 last month. That dude, he started in 71.
Whoa. And he ain't been retired that long.
He ain't been retired that long. Dude. So he one day I remember it was when we had the trucks with no power steering and it was stick shift. And the step was super high, right?
I had to drive one of them.
Yeah, and on the east side, I had one of them routes. And so I'm doing this every day, right? Doing all that. And so even my arm is still kind of messed up. So my arm was like this, man. It got locked. The elbow was bent, right? And so I was telling Russ, he was like, well, how do you know it's from that? I'm like, bro, what else do you think it's from? What else? I'm no power steering. I'm doing, what else you think it's from? And he was like, well, look at Derek Christensen. I said, okay, stop you right there. He's like an enigma. He's like one in a million. It ain't like 50 Derek Christensens walking around. He's like the one dude.
The only
like
one.
That. Yeah, and I'm like, come on, you can't compare that, dude. I don't know what he's doing. He started in a time when it wasn't like this, though. You know what I mean?
Very much true.
It's just crazy, man, all the ailments, man. Knee surgeries and all that, man. It's just a lot on your body, bro.
Okay. So let me ask you, because you mentioned that your wife is a pastor, right? So I would think that she kind of has an idea of, maybe she doesn't face the exact same challenges that she faced with the job we do, but I would imagine she has, like, she would work long hours too. Because even after she, like, say she works from 9 to 5, but even after she gets off, I'm pretty sure mentally she still spends time thinking about her job and the things she has to do.
Oh, and it never stops with them. And I compared that. She was like, well, I always say that, you know, if you still out there working, I can be working. I say, well, your work is different because it's emotional labor.
Explain.
So emotional labor, you pouring out to people. You know what I'm saying? It's not like physical, we lifting and walking and running, but emotional labor, it's a different kind of energy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So they expend, I say, don't get it wrong, like what you do is serious too, and sometimes they don't never cut it off neither. It's always a crisis, a phone call, somebody needs prayer, you know, she preaches. So it's a different kind of energy, but emotional energy, to me, you got to have a depth to that because you constantly like pouring out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
I
a
can see
difference.
that.
Yeah, it's a difference, man.
I never thought about that. Like,
that's emotional labor. You know what I mean? It's different, man. It's different, man.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, different game.
So would it, like, brothers, maybe your father, anybody else in your family that they're what they do for a living? I won't say compares, but gives them a glimpse into what you go through on a daily basis. So where like kind of like strengthens the bond that you have with them. Is there anybody else like that in your family?
My brother, I got a brother that's 6 years older than me, right? And I got him on at the South Building probably about 2 years now. And he does he works preload. Like he does the Amazon. He stacks it up.
Okay.
Like stacks the, you know, and he's in good shape to be his age, but he was like, he was starting to see, man, and he said, man, once you work for UPS, you can't do nothing else, man. You pretty much got to go home and rest up. So he knows now. You know what I mean? He has I used to tell him about it.
You've probably been telling him for years. And he was like, man, get the fuck out of here.
He knows now. Like, Marty was his boss before she came to our job. So
Okay.
she was his boss over there before she came. But he knows firsthand, man. He said, man, you got to eat, man. I'm like, bro, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like your body.
Breakfast.
That's a whole nother thing. Nutrition is a whole. We gonna have to get to that in a minute. But he knows now, and it's like, man. He said UPS is like a machine, dude. He said it's like peak every day, man.
Yeah.
I said they make it rain on demand. They engineered. It's like their world, so they engineer it to where it's profitable for the people who own stock and all that to rain every day. They want it a certain way. They want to hit them certain numbers. So he has an idea like the physical toll and the mental toll it takes too. He knows now.
So I do want to talk about that because you brought up a great topic of conversation. Nutrition. Hey, drivers out here listening, this is about to be important.
Yeah.
Maybe year 3 or 4. I started to learn that I needed to adjust my diet, not just what I was eating, but when I was eating.
When
the amount of water I was drinking,
right?
The pulling back of, like, a lot of people think, hey, you need to be drinking Gatorades, Powerades, energy drinks. No energy drinks. That needs to go away.
That's off the table automatically.
That's got to go away.
That's too much caffeine, and that's an artificial. Like, it's an artificial boost. Like, that'll kill you, man. You know what I mean? Some cats coming out with the 5 hour and the Rockstar and the Red Bull, but if you ain't got enough sleep, ain't nothing gonna help.
Yeah. That's another big thing. I notice when I'm performing my best is when, 1, I've slept well.
Yeah.
And then 2, when I ate something in the morning.
You got to, bro. You got to.
That is a death sentence.
Yeah, because
not
you
sleeping
burning.
well.
Yeah,
and not eating.
Yeah, it was times when you don't eat. Some people say, "Oh, I'll just get something later on," but like your body is burning. Like, so I done lost so much weight. People like, "Man, you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. It's like I'm on the UPS diet."
Listen, there was dudes when I first started. I'm not gonna say their names. I don't want to call these dudes out.
Yeah.
But there was dudes when I first started. I was like, dude, you have to be on drugs. There's no way that, like, you just this skinny. That is, I don't.
It
get
looked like something wrong.
It looked like something wrong with you, right?
Yeah.
And then after doing it, especially doing the job, then especially in the summer,
In the summer.
and then doing certain routes where I learned, there's some routes where you can't take any breaks.
It ain't no chill. Yeah. It ain't no
you
chill.
legitimately about to be working for 11 hours
Like
and
the
nonstop.
route dictates the day. Some route, I can chill about this time. Some route you got to hump all day. You know.
So what do you do for yourself nutritionally? And do
Man,
you do anything special?
No, not really. Like in the morning, and it's like I realize that it's caloric intake, right? To not lose weight, because what happens is like after your body burns the fat, then it starts eating muscle.
Okay.
So you start losing mass.
Okay.
Niggas get smaller. Your waist gets smaller. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But it's not enough calories.
I'll be seeing these small-waisted niggas.
Yeah, you eat like
bro,
you
what's
eat
up?
not enough calories, man.
Okay.
You look like, if you look up the average person, it's a few different ones, but the average cat in UPS is built like a Spartan.
That is very
Like
much
Gladiator,
true. Yeah.
everybody's like
Yeah.
slim. It's
Yeah.
a few exceptions. Some
Yeah.
cats are just big. I don't know what they doing. But me, man, I'll try to have my wife's real good on, she'll make a protein shake in the morning, but I try to eat something like every 2 hours, bro.
Yeah.
I have a sandwich, I have some fruit, I have something quick that I can eat. And then like I go home, thank God I got a route on my home. Then I eat a little bowl of rice and chicken. But you got to keep 200-300 calories every time you eat something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because your body's looking for something, and it's just devouring your mass.
Yeah.
You get smaller. Like I used to be a double X shirt. Now I'm like down to XL. And I'm like, I ain't never been an XL in my life.
And that's a gift and a curse, because it keeps you sexy.
It keeps you right.
It keeps you slim and fit, but at the same time, you're like, this isn't my natural.
It keeps you right.
now.
It keeps you right. I'll give you a prime example, like Javier Garcia, right?
Yeah.
You see how he's built, right? He's been built like he can like hula hoop in the Cheerios.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Like that dude is like super. And then like if you get sick or something, where you can't really move, you can't afford to lose 20 pounds.
Listen, I'm going to say it. Javi, you was one of them names that I wasn't going to say.
Yeah.
At first, bro, when I first met you, I'm like, bro, why are you so skinny?
Why are you saying? It might be his genetics.
And then, Javi, I sat on your rock. I think you were on vacation for this was back when we was at Red Rock.
You see why?
He was on vacation for 3 weeks. And I sat on that route for the whole time.
The whole time?
The whole time he was on vacation. And I was so mad at Javi. I was like, bro, if you don't bring your ass back to work, there's no reason.
That's a death sentence.
There's no reason I should be doing this route. And I wasn't even driving a year yet.
Really?
Hadn't even been
but
a year yet.
They knew something in you. Like they can see, they won't, like they recognize talent right off. So they see, okay, if anybody can handle it, like, I'm gonna throw J.Love on it. You know what I mean? I remember you and what's your name was talking about the extras or whatever.
Yeah.
How y'all was always like, you and Bob, and it's a shame. Like I said, you get punished for being good. You know what I mean? You get punished for being good, man. But that nutrition, like I experimented over the time. I have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, then later on, I got me a apple or something. Then I got me a sandwich, and it feels like you eating all day.
Yeah,
but it's almost like you got to do like the bodybuilders for mass. But then you can't eat too heavy or too much because you slow down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I learned that because usually, I sit down to eat. I'm eating whatever's on the plate has got to go.
Yeah,
but I noticed early. You can't eat whatever it is you're about to order to eat or whatever you're bringing with you. You can't eat the whole thing, or if you're bringing something with you, you gotta eat light.
You gotta eat light
because if you eat heavy foods or you just eating too much food, that puts a real damper on your day.
It's gonna slow you down, man.
Yeah.
And your body takes energy to break all that down, but at the same time, you need energy. So you gotta find something quick, man. Quick, 200-300 calories, something that's gonna boost you, keep going. That's why I like the shake I make. It's like almost like a 500. I think it's about a 500 or 1,000 calorie shake, but it's liquid.
Okay.
So right off the top, you can't. It's hard to eat 1,000 calories and not be sluggish, but you can drink it.
Yeah.
Because it goes right down.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yep.
That's part of the thing, because you out there using all your muscles. Your mind, everything takes a toll. So you got to have that nutrition and that sleep, dude. You can't play with that, bro.
Okay. Well, let's do a little 180 real quick. Okay. So, what can you say about some of the positive things that have happened to you as a result of the job that you do?
Well, like I said, first of all, it changed my life. Definitely changed my life as far as like financially, and it keeps you in shape. You know what I mean? And from a company standpoint, it's a great company. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna keep 100. It's a great company. They've been around just 115 years or something like that. So it's a great company. How they advancing with all their stuff, man. I mean, like, it's probably one of the better companies to work for. And just wearing that uniform and people knowing you work, you get a different look, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I will say, like, a lot of people, especially that work for the company, right? They like to talk about all the negatives, but that's why this is one of my questions on here is what can you say about some of the positive things? Because you can't hate greatness.
You can't hate greatness.
You can't hate greatness, man. You can hate on it, but you can't legitimately hate it. And being a part of this company, it's like it slaps you in the face. Like, hey, listen, it's difficult. There's challenges. There's things you don't like, but fuck, this is a great place though. Still,
and you know what it takes to be great, and what it takes to be an industry leader. Like it's U.P.S, FedEx, everybody else, but to be an industry leader for so long, it takes a lot, bro. And it has taught me a lot. Like I did I think when it was my 10th year, or I can't remember, but I did a blog post about 10 things I learned at UPS in 10 years. You know, one of them was like, you got to manage your time, you know, and here's what I said too. Here's what gets a lot of people, even used to get myself, but disappointment is when expectation meets reality. So we go in expecting one thing, but when the reality meets, that's where the disappointment is. So you have to lower your expectation because man, it's going to be an easy day, or it's going to be this. See, it gets us every time. It's a mind trick. You know what I mean? So that's where the reality meeting that's where disappointment comes in, because I'm expecting one thing, but the reality is I got 160 stops. I thought I would have like 100. I got a 12-hour day. I thought I would have like a 9-hour. You can't expect that. You know what I mean? So it's taught me a lot mentally. I felt I brought, you know, a lot just personally with myself, you know, to the company, but it sharpened me up in some other ways too. You know what I mean? And I think one of the main things people tend to underestimate is they think a corporation is a person. A corporation doesn't have a soul
at all.
They don't have a soul. They think they want it to be a person. Why do I got there? Everything is numbers about UPS. So whatever they got to do to hit the numbers, man, like you can't think of them as a person. Like, oh, this person's dogging me. It's a corporation. They don't have a soul.
And I was doing that a lot. When I first started, I was taking a lot of the things or the feelings I was having about the job, I was taking it personally. Like somebody themselves was doing this to me.
Doing it, right.
And I remembered like, let me find this motherfucker who's doing this shit to me so I could go wring his neck right now.
You wouldn't let nobody do that to you.
Nobody.
You know what I mean? And people trip me out on how they treating you. I always like they treating everybody else. Like, I mean, there's no discrimination. Everybody gonna get it. You know how they got them 5 sin habits and all that and this and that? I came up with one a long time ago. I said, expect to be disrespected. It makes it easier. If you expect it, then... okay, I'm expecting to get disrespected.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So,
for sure.
It's taught me a lot. And it teaches you stuff, how to deal with stuff in other areas of your life and in other areas of the world. Just working for them. You know what I mean?
What helped me understand that was the good supervisors. The good supervisors would explain to me like, hey, J.Love, listen, I'm not doing this to you. I know it's terrible. What you about to have to go? You about to take this truck out and you about to have a long, terrible day. I know it. I don't want you to have a long, terrible day. But that's what has to happen.
That's what has to happen.
That's what has to happen. I'm not doing this to you, man.
I'm not doing it. Somebody's forcing their hand. You know what I mean? Somebody's forcing their hand. So the flip side of it, like I said, you can always start with the negatives, but it is a lot of positives, man. I mean, you think about stock, the 401k. I mean, just the money you can get. You know what I mean? Like I cashed out some stock, man. I had been building up, you know, putting my little shares in, buying little shares and I cashed out like $17,000 last year.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? But I got to build it back up now. But you can't do that at too many companies.
Just to have it, like I think let me just go take out.
I cashed it out to go take some stuff in my house. You know what I mean? But I pulled it out. But you working for a company that you can do stuff like that too. You know what I mean? So it's you know it's a give and take, man. You know what I mean? It's positive and negative. You know what I mean?
Okay. So moving on, I want to ask you, what have you learned about people from all the interactions with all the different kinds of people that you've had while doing this route? Because I know your route before. I don't know too much about your route now, but I know you had a man business route.
Yeah, and it got better. People, man, they I don't know if you're a people person and you know how to like interact with people and just like, and they didn't have no problem for me. Like a lot of my customers, like they love me, man. They help make your day easier. You know what I mean? But you never know what nobody's going through, and I always read people and I always read energy. Okay. You know what I mean? So, just dealing with people, I go in and be respectful. I don't, you walk up, they know, they see that uniform, they know you there for business. I just, wait my turn, just, oh, let me help you. You know what I mean? They know what's up. So I always try to carry myself in a certain way, and, dealing with people are interesting. You know what I mean? Because you got so many personalities, so many, variables, so many different businesses, and, dealing with schools and all that, but it's taught me a lot. It just taught me. It sharpens if good at it, it sharpens your social skills. Yes. And if I like sometimes, I got to know cats. Like I would just do a pickup, but me and this cat, we would, while he loading the boxes, we would talk for 10, 15 minutes a day while I'm doing the pickup. But I got to know him just in those brief little interactions. You know what I mean? So you really get to know people over a period of time, and they genuinely want to make your day better, man. Right. Like I had it down. Oh, Dave, don't worry about it. They text me, oh, we don't got nothing today. So they genuinely want to make your day easy. So I think you just got to be a people. I mean, you dealing with people. You got to be a people person. Right. I know. So.
If you've ever, it's been a while for you, brother, but if you ever remember, when you fill out job applications, there's a question on there, and it says, do you feel like people are naturally good or people are like naturally not evil or no shit like that? I think it's naturally dishonest, right? And with my interactions from seeing and meeting all these people for 10 years now, when I would answer that question, filling out applications, I would always put, I think people are naturally honest. People are naturally good people. I think that's actually a true statement now.
That they naturally honest.
People are naturally honest and good people. Yeah. Naturally.
I think so, too. I would second that statement, too. I think so, yeah. I mean, you might have the few that's, trying to get over, but naturally, I think people are. Yeah, I think people are.
I think a lot of people, when they have a bad interaction, and it's the same thing like if you go to a restaurant, right? And you order something and you ordered the one bad item. Now you hate the restaurant. Yeah. But everything else in the restaurant is probably fire. Though. Yeah. So I think a lot of people, especially I'm talking about drivers specifically, a lot of times we'll go and we'll deliver and we'll have this one terrible interaction, and then that just like leaves a bad taste in our mouth for the rest of the customers, and we'll like generalize the majority of the people on the route, or just man, all these customers fucking suck. I don't like none of them. But it's just like how for us, in return, we'll have a UPS driver who doesn't do his job so well. He's rude. He doesn't have good customer service. He's late to pickups. He doesn't deliver his air on time, and then that'll make the rest of us look bad to
they look
everyone
at
else.
They stereotype everybody. Yeah. And I didn't see that, and I didn't came behind some drivers and like everybody on their route hate him. And I'm like, damn,
I've had that experience too.
And I don't say nothing. You know what I mean? I just listen, man. And then like you say, it might be that one day. It might be an isolated incident. So I give them another day. They might be pissed off too. And some people, the money we make and the status we got, they kind of hate a little bit. You know what I mean? So you kind of feel that too. So it's a lot of things going on. But I think dealing with people, man, you can't be like that. First of all, they're going to call in on you. They're going to make your day hard. But if you just always, like I just try to lock with my customers, man. I try to feel them out. I read them. And once I got them, okay, boo, we good. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Okay. So also, do you feel a certain kind of responsibility doing this job, whether it be responsibility on the job or off the job? Yeah. And I specifically want to ask you about your responsibility off the job. And this is why. Because I'm one of the young dudes in there who I've been aware of you for a long time. Like, even though, like, we often talk. Like, every time we see each other, we say, what's up? But even before like this conversation, I was aware of the things you did outside of work. I was aware of the impact that you had on the city that had nothing to do with UPS.
Yeah.
So whether like me and Alan talked about, Alan was my first episode. We talked about how, you know, whether me and him know it or not, it's people that look at us and we don't even realize that like they watching us, like that we're setting examples for these dudes. And I was one of the dudes who was I was peeping you out a long time ago.
Much respect.
A long time ago.
Much
like,
respect.
oh, well, let me see what OG is doing, because he's not just doing work like at the job. He does stuff outside of here.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, shit, you know, I'm trying to do something too. So you gotta. One of my favorite rappers is Currency, and one of my favorite lines of all time is, "I got game from those who came before and maintained."
Yeah.
So you always want to learn from people who not only do what it is that you want to do, but have maintained it at a high degree. For long periods of time.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think and I have a personal responsibility and a personal accountability, like you say, even. Before UPS. Like UPS is part of what I do now and part of who I'll always be, but I've always had a personal accountability to myself. You know what I mean? And you never know who's watching. You really don't. True. You know what I'm saying? Somebody just be in the cut, and like you want to be consistent in like what you do, your word, your interaction. Like your word is everything, but I think, you know, you got to be consistent. You know, so you can be known as like, that's a solid cat. You know what I mean? Just like with you, I knew you was sharp, man. And I'm like, man, this brother's sharp, man. He's intelligent, he carries himself very thorough. And so I like linking with brothers like that. You know what I mean? So it's a mutual respect. But I've always tried, and sometimes for the longest, I never mixed what I did off the job with the job. It was like two separate worlds. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I do, but this is not who I am.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm a driver. That's what I do for a living, but that's not who I am. Right. That's a small part of my whole identity, but I got, it might be three other components that make me up. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm always trying to careful just how I carry myself and how you present yourself. You know what I mean? I just, you know, like, you a personal brand outside anything you do.
Right.
You know what I mean? 100%. So when they see you, I talk to you, interact you, they gonna know, okay, this is this cat's brand. This is does he stand on his word? Does he say what he gonna do? What is he about? What is he on? You know what I mean? So I've always just tried to be careful, man. And like you say, the maintaining part, anybody can get it, but the key is maintaining it. Yeah. And like the longevity of
that is, anybody who's ever been successful in life at anything knows it's not actually the getting whatever it is that you desire. That's the hard part. The hard part is, now, how do you hold on to it?
How do you hold on to it?
And how do you hold on to it and maintain it, or how do you grow something?
How do you grow something?
Those are the hard things, which is one of I'm gonna bring it back to why you can't hate a company like UPS. Yeah. Like, you can be mad and like about the working conditions sometimes, but as far as like a company, they've created something, they maintained it, and then grew it, and
they got to hold on to it
and continue to grow it
and continue to grow it. Like, even it was here before we got here. It'll be probably here before when we gone. Yep. And you think about it, man. That company started out on bikes. Now they got an airplane. They own an airline.
I saw a documentary with the motherfuckers on bikes. And I'm like, Jesus.
They started out on bikes, dog.
That's crazy.
I mean, you like you say, you gotta respect the greatness. Like, whatever it takes to get there, they didn't have to maintain it. I seen somewhere overseas, somebody was in a damn canoe or something, delivering something to somebody.
Damn.
And I'm just like, if you wanted to ship an elephant from here to China tomorrow, they would find a way to get it there. So the logistical approach they take to everything is like brilliant, bro. And ain't no stupid people working there, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And if it is, you won't be there that long. Like, all them drivers in the PCM in the morning, I mean, some are whatever, but ain't no weak people standing there, bro.
Yeah, 1,000%.
I mean, like, it takes a certain mental fortitude to do this. I want to quit every day. I ain't gonna lie.
Yep, I'm with you.
Everybody want to quit, but don't nobody want to get fired. You know what I mean? Every day I'm like, you know what?
That's real as shit right there. Everybody want to quit, but don't nobody want to get fired.
And I'm serious. And the only reason I say that, and I say this to people, man, like I try to describe it to people, it's the nature of what you got to put your body through every day. And I told somebody, I said, you know what it's like? It's like helping somebody move every day. And you say, oh, I get the truck and do all the work.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. Oh, I got it. Don't worry. It's like helping somebody. Who wants to do that every day, bro?
Nobody.
You know what I mean? So it's something else, man. So, but that's, in a nutshell, I just try to, keep my, myself grounded and keep my compartment separate. People know me for certain aspects. And then it's a responsibility on the job, too. Mm-hmm. I think so, too. And that's grown over the years because at first, like I'm coming up, I was one of them cats, tried to get over. I do little slick stuff. I do this. But then as I grew more in the job, I always just try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want nothing coming back on me. You ain't going to be doing nothing. If you can follow me, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to be thorough with it. Mm-hmm. That's why, even dealing with supervisors, if you notice, man, and I noticed that early with you when you used to deal with Alex, they treat you how you treat and carry yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
One day, Daniel be like, he came in there, he was trying to talk about something. I said, hold on, bro, how you doing? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, bro, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a human, dog.
Talk to me like a person,
can I get 2 seconds for a minute? Like, I said, how you doing? So then after that, every time he says something, all right, good morning, man, how you doing? That's all it takes, bro. Yep. Just good morning, man. You don't know what nobody on coming in here. And all you, so I taught them how to treat me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have some, soft skills are better than hard skills.
1,000%.
You know what I mean?
1,000%.
They're like, come on, bro. Like, even Donald's he's pretty cool with it too, but like, don't come in here just bullheaded and, man, hold on, man, how you doing, man?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think you just got to keep a personal responsibility and accountability for yourself.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's one of, I say there's 3 things I really learned from my time in college. Mm-hmm. One was communication. Mm-hmm. I learned how to communicate extremely well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I learned how to also credit sources. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
So learn how to not just, I'm not just taking people's word for things. I want to, where did things come from?
Right.
I learned where did things come from?
That's good.
And shit, I forgot the third one.
But it was 3 pillars, though, man. What did you go to college for, bro?
Liberal arts.
Really?
Liberal arts, man. Liberal arts.
Did you think you would end up at U.P.S.?
Not at all, man. I was originally headed overseas to go play pro basketball.
Really?
That's where I was originally going, man.
That's why I always joke. I said, J.Love walking here look like he'll put up 50 on a nigga in a minute.
Yes, I used to put up 30 on niggas. That's what I was in college doing. I was in college putting up numbers.
That's crazy, man. That is crazy, bro.
So, you've been driving for so long, and you've been here through technology, like shifts. Mm-hmm. So, I would like to know, how have the things that you've been like, when you're out there on the road, how are you passing your time? Because I would imagine, like, I would say, like, newer drivers, right? So, now, like even me, I still like I'm a vet driver, but still relatively new. It's crazy at 10 years. It's still
but
still
you
relatively
vet
new.
Status.
Yeah, for sure, vet status.
Yeah.
So it's always been music or podcasts or on the phone with homies. So what do you do while you out there?
A lot of times, like first part of my day is so hectic I won't do nothing. But usually that's how I listen to Audible a lot, like a lot of the books.
Okay,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but I do the podcast, music. Because I'm a DJ, gave me time to catch up on all my stuff. You know what I mean, to stay ahead of my YouTube stuff, the audio part of it. But most of that because you got so much time. You know what I mean? I talk to somebody. I notice a lot of time when I call Torres or something, he's always on the phone. I'm like, why is this dude always on the phone with you?
He's on the phone with me all the time.
All the time. And I noticed that too. Like if you on the phone with cats sometime, it does help your day.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you doing it unconsciously, but you going through it and you look up like, dang, it's, my day, that's 3-4 hours or something. You know what I mean?
3-4 hours I'd have knocked off 100 stops.
Knocked off. And I'm talking to somebody, it's kind of helping me, you know what I mean? So, cause you need somebody out there. But a lot of times I do that. I bring my radio and I'll listen to music for a little bit. I'll listen to some sermons. I'll listen to a book, you know what I mean?
So what's the last book that you just finished listening to on Audible?
I bounce around a lot, man. last one, and like I said, I go back to one, is Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. You know, familiar with Grant Cardone?
I do know Grant Cardone.
10X rule is sell or be sold. And you know what he's saying? Like, it sounds simple, but if you can't sell nobody on whatever you're doing, that means you're not sold on it. Mm-hmm. So we saying that sell is made.
Yep.
Either you selling or you being sold.
Yep.
So I listen to that. I listened to the 50 Cent book, his last one about
Lockhart was telling me that's something I should listen to.
I can't think of the name of it, but I got so many on my thing, dude. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
And I listened to one. It's a good one called Never Split the Difference. It's about negotiating.
I've heard of that book
that
before
dude
too.
Is cold.
I've heard of that one too.
It's just techniques, man. And so I take that time to, like, you know, that's like my audio. They call it an audio college.
Yep, 1,000%.
You know what I mean?
My favorite book of all time is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's a cold one.
I read that book like 3-4 times.
Yeah.
I try to read it once every year. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite one of all time.
Yeah,
and I've been reading the whole catalog lately of a guy called Ryan Holiday.
Ryan Holiday. I was just about to ask you, the Daily Stoic.
Yeah, I read
Daily Stoic
every day.
I don't know how he's able to keep putting out so much stuff on that topic. He's cold though, man.
So I bumped into a great conversation right now, a great topic. Mm-hmm. I feel like Stoicism, man, is like the original sovereign man, the original Spartan man, the original man that I don't know who the fuck he was, or like the original, like when you look whatever the idea of a real man, I'm not even gonna say man, a real person with real values, real mental upkeep, mental strength, That's what that's about. So I feel like that can be written about forever.
Yeah, and it's crazy that it was so long ago, and it's relative to this day,
right now, today.
Like, this stuff is BC.
Because when you think about it, that this same topic, Stoicism, is in everything that you just said about how. That's why it's one of my questions. Do you feel a responsibility off of what you do? And you were just saying, like, I have to be cautious about how I carry myself. I have to be cautious about how I talk to people and all of that, because those are real core values to yourself.
Yeah, to yourself.
Right?
Yeah. As I can't believe it, man. But like that stuff, it's almost like a manual and a blueprint for life. All that Stoic stuff, dude. It's just like, and it gives you like an operating system.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
1,000%.
It gives you one, and it gives you a way to approach. I was just about to say Ryan Holiday before. We probably was going to say it at the same time.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
That is crazy.
I'm
gonna tell you who else. I'm gonna tell you who his mentor is. Robert Greene.
Yeah, I got the 48 laws of power up there. I got all of that upstairs.
Yeah, Stoicism is deep, man. You know, that's good. So that's what I do. Stuff like that. I just like, you know, it's the time I can educate myself. I'm out here 8-10 hours. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I take a note, and I get ideas too. I keep a notebook in there. I come up with something. All the time.
Write it down.
Write it down. You know what I mean? So that's how I've always done it, man. Just to kind of pass the time. And sometimes, like lately, I got to get back to it, man. Lately, I haven't been able to, but you got to get out of your head.
Yeah.
Because you'll be in your head all day, man. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So I try to have stuff to occupy my time. Man.
And I know when I was talking to Alan, and Alan was talking about, he said that, you know, just this last year, he started like listening to music and listening to podcasts and stuff. So I didn't say it, but I was thinking, I'm like, bro, you've been in your head, man, for 10 years out there.
Yeah.
Like, woo, that's had to take a toll on you a little bit. That's had to take a toll on you.
It's the job.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
Yeah, it's brutal, man.
Oh, man. Okay. So you've been driving for so long that you had to have seen some of the wildest shit ever in life while you've been out there delivering. What would you say? Or you can give me 1, 2, or 3 things, as many as you feel comfortable with. What is some of the most outrageous shit you've seen while you were out there delivering?
Not as much as you think. I don't know much as I can remember, but I remember one time I was coming back, and I was right there. You know how you come up Washington and you usually make that left turn when you're going back to the building if you're coming from the east side or something? And it was a dude. It was kind of dark. And this dude was crossing the street, And I seen him, no, like he was like that. I guess the car didn't see him, man. Hit him. He did a complete flip. Like the top of his head was on the top of the car.
Ooh.
And it happened so fast, dude. And I called 911. He was like, no, he was crossing the street and he was like, no. Next thing I know, I just seen his body like that, dude. I'm just like, golly.
You seen somebody get flipped by a car?
Yeah, he got hit.
Damn.
He did like 2 flips. His head was on the top of the car. I couldn't believe it, dude. I'm just like, golly. So I got turned over on that street right there, and I called, and the car stopped about halfway down. I just think he didn't see him. It was dark, man. It was crazy, bro. It just like tripped me out, man.
I would have. I don't know
It freaked
what
me
I would
out,
have
bro.
did. I seen somebody get
man,
hit by a car like that.
It was like a movie, dude. I'm just like, and he couldn't do nothing. He was like trying to brace himself and tell him to stop, but I just think the dude didn't see him, man. Dude didn't see him. It was crazy, man. Another thing, like I said, that I can remember, I had a man and woman come to the door naked.
Yep,
the
happens.
woman I didn't mind, but the man, I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like, I mean, damn, man.
Yeah, it makes you
know
uncomfortable.
What I mean?
Like, bro, you making
it's
me
like, yeah,
uncomfortable.
hold on,
right
something. And then I'm like, man, you had time to go. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, what is that about, man? I don't know, man. And I just seen the other day, like, you know, on the east side, in the area on Cary and all that, man, them people be on that meth and all that stuff, man. And it was a lady, I don't know if you seen it, I was talking about it the other day, but she was walking, throwing a ball, right? She was just like, I couldn't see, like her back was to me, but she was throwing a ball, right? And it was a truck in front of her. And so she throwing it, the ball goes out in the street. She jumps right out in the street to get the ball. And the car stopped, and I'm behind them, so I had enough space to where I can stop and see it. And then when I got past her, I looked at her, she zombied out, man. And then she like got in front of me almost, and I'm like, she was more worried about that ball than her life, though, dog. And I'm like, what is it? And I couldn't see it first, but when I got up on her, I'm like, okay, that's what's going on.
Yep.
That's what's going on, man.
I've noticed that too, man. Sometimes I'll be, not now because, you know, I got my own ride now, but when I would cover other drivers' routes, sometimes I'll be in areas where just being in the area, it turns you into, like we were talking before, it makes you have to be like, start to be a stoic person.
Yeah.
You start thinking about, because of some of the things you see, like you see a lot of people on drugs, or like you see the living conditions of other people, and then it makes you real grateful. It makes you more focused. Sometimes it makes you like determined. And like it brings up a lot of emotions that you wouldn't, you know, that aren't necessarily in the forefront of your everyday being. Like I'm not all the just waking up like, oh, I'm grateful for this, or I'm going to the store, I'm grateful for this soda. But sometimes you get in areas and then you have interactions with people and you're like, okay, it just gives you like a real deep reverence for
it does, and it puts you in another perspective. And for years I used to deliver down there like a 4-master lane and all that, and it was like, you know, that's where the homeless be, man. It's depressing, dude. I couldn't figure out why, like, I used to get so depressed, but it's the homeless right here, and then it's a graveyard right across the street. I'm just like, it was so depressing. Dude.
Yeah,
It was it's just like the energy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It
It was just like the energy, man. So it was crazy, but I was off top just seeing that dude get hit. You know, them people coming to the door, trailer park, kids in the street, and I'm just like, dang, I mean, literally, there's nobody out here. They're like, where are their parents at? Kids just, you know, running down the street. I'm just like, man, what is going on? But like you say, that stuff will put stuff in perspective and make you, you know, grateful for what you're doing. And I think sometimes that's meant to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we'll lose sight of like how good we got it sometimes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, but off top, that's probably one of the, I can't think of nothing else, man, but that's probably about some of the few things I didn't see.
Okay. This is interesting. So now I get to ask an OG. Who were your OGs?
Okay, that's good. And of course, it's a lot of cats that came before me, man, and I always tried to rap with. Chris Jenkins. You remember Chris Jenkins?
No, Chris Jenkins.
Of course, Mike Smith. You know what I mean? Gary Hart. Me and Gary Hart are the same age.
Really?
Right? Yeah, we're the same age. but he been in the company longer. He
Okay.
just been, but we was always, but I would look up to him because he been there. You know what I mean?
It was wild when Gary came back driving, and I was like, Gary, I got more seniority than you now, dog. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. I remember even before I went driving, and he was talking. It was like one of the contracts. He's like, man, save your money, man. It might be a strike. You know what I mean? So him, Marvin Jackson, me and Marvin Jackson, got real cool. He taught me a lot about, he said, I used to be that same way too. I used to be busting them routes out. Now I just I'm smooth. I just take my time. You know what I mean? So,
that's one thing I remember about Marvin, because I still see Marvin.
Yeah, do you?
Often. I still see him often.
Do you? Yeah.
So just, he's the same outside of work as he was at work.
At work,
just real smooth. Just like a Chicago pimp.
Right,
like
Chicago.
Player,
Just Chicago style.
You just real smooth, dog, and just in your conversation, the way you walk around the building, the way you handle the job, everything is just real smooth.
Real
and cool.
smooth, right? Always, man. Jimmy Hobbs, Jimmy Hobbs is real cool. Like I say, Jesse George. But them are some of the cats.
I gotta get J. Cool up on here.
J who?
J. Cool, Jesse George. That's what I call him.
J. Cool, yeah.
Yeah, I got to get him up.
It was Al Thyman, even before. I remember Al Thyman used to deliver to this restaurant I was working in. And I was doing preload, and then I would do preload, like from whatever to like 8. And then from like 9 to 3, I would work in a little restaurant off Centennial. And I said, bro, I'm coming. I'm coming, man. You know what I mean? So I always talk to them guys. After so many years, you can sit, but I always look up to them guys. They've been there 20-something years. I only been there 17, but them guys been there, 20, 30. You know what I mean? Yeah. So them are some of the cats. Even I say Bob Swanick. Even Bob Swanick, cats like that. I look up to them cats like that. So
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's for sure interesting.
So, that's kind of my list, man. I probably got a good 10 of them, you know what I'm saying, I consider, And I look at everything, too, how cats carry themselves, what they conversations about. Because, when I was coming up, people can tell you stuff, but I looked at it like I take a page from everybody's playbook and make my own.
Yeah.
What do you do in the morning? How you run that? So, I do air and bulk, you know what I mean? So I would always take a page from everybody's book, and then I would do what was comfortable for me and make my own playbook. You know what I mean? So
what were some of the things that the drivers that came before you told you that helped you become successful? Because I just had there's a new driver, a recent situation for me. There's a new driver in the building. He was going through a hard time, right? And all the stuff I'm telling him is stuff that Wilborn had told me. Like, hey, dog, listen.
Yeah, I even say Wilborn. I got a shout out to Wilborn too. Yeah.
And I'm telling him like, hey, dude, listen. Yeah, it's hard. It sucks. But, bruh, don't give up. Don't quit, because most likely you're not about to get this type of lifestyle going somewhere else.
You're not.
I don't know where else you're going to make this kind of money with no college degree, dog.
Not with no college
That's super rare, man. That's super unheard of.
Yeah.
So, like, you already here, man. Just stay with it. So were there any like phrases in particular or anything that any of your OGs said that helped you think about the job?
This one cat, and he was probably there 2 years before I got there, and he kind of got mad at me sometimes because I wasn't like a route rat. I would get a couple routes and set on them for 2-3 years, so I wasn't like a route rat. And I learned early you got to do just enough to keep them off you. But if you doing every route, they're going to throw you on every route. And I was like, no, I don't want that life. I don't want to be stressed out. I made that mistake. Because you going there with your chest out, killing it. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got us one. So I was like, you know what? Nah, let me just lay low. You know what I mean? But this is when we had Ed. You remember when it was Ed on the board? He said, I remember Josh Ponce, he said, when it's heavy, use your head. When it's light, use Ed. And so I thought about that, and I'm like, okay, when it's heavy, I gotta figure this out. But when it's light, I can just follow the, you know what I mean? So he told me stuff like that, and Cass would tell me, like in the morning, okay, like you say, do the air, do your, I call it A, B, and B, air, bulk, and BS. Like the big stuff in the way, stuff like that. And Marvin would be like, Marvin had a route on the east side too. It was kind of cool, but he was just like, man, I just I just go at a nice little smooth pace, you know what I mean? Because you start out, running and trying to get everything done, but I realize too that it's a pace.
Yeah,
you got to really pace.
It's like being a marathon runner.
Yeah. It's like it ain't a 40-yard dash. It really is a marathon. So I learned pace, and one of the biggest things I learned was like organization. I'm gonna tell you, when I first, how like when you go driving, they let you ride with somebody.
Yep.
Jesse George.
Okay.
And it was so crazy because when I got there, probably 2 or 3 years before, I did Jesse George's wedding.
Oh.
So I knew him. I'm like, man, what's up? And I'm like, I'll ride with him, you know what I mean? So, I just ride with him, he's cool, smooth with it, got the techniques and stuff too. And so I just try to pick up on, I was just trying to learn as much as I could.
Right,
man.
right.
They would just tell me little stuff like that. I remember Joe Cantu would say, the streets. So if this is 5,700 and 1,500, I knew where all the brakes are.
Yeah.
So if I knew if it was this, he would say like that. So I would just pick everybody's brain.
It's so love that you brought up Joe Cantu.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Joe Cantu.
Joe Cantu is one of my favorite people. At UPS.
He's a real dude, man. Real dude,
maybe at some point in time back at Red Rock is when I got introduced to him, and then ever since then. Dude, I love talking.
He's solid, man.
I love talking to Joe Cantu, man.
Yeah.
Joey, if you listen to this, please come on the show, man.
Yeah.
Because you don't really talk to everybody at the building.
Yeah.
Like people know who you are, but everybody doesn't get to talk to you.
Right. And that's a reason. It's a reason for it.
If people got to like hear you, bruh, everybody at the building should know who Joe Cantu is.
They should know. He's solid dude.
Absolutely.
Solid dude. Good dude, man. Yeah. So I would talk to him. He was a few years ahead of me, but I would just talk to, just absorb all I could. You know what I mean? Ask me, okay, how you do? What you do on this route? What do you do? And so I'm listening and then incorporating what's comfortable for me. Like what works for somebody might not work for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I know I'm not running to do no 30 stops an hour.
Ain't doing
and
that
I
either.
look at, I say, okay, now this cat got to be running, dude.
Yep.
He got to be because you can't do it comfortably at that level doing it like that. So I would just try to take in information like that, logical stuff, how to take care of your body. You know what I mean? All that type of stuff, man.
So that makes me want to ask you. So how do you feel about? Because you as far as I'm concerned, you the head of safety. You do the PCMs
Appreciate
every
it,
day,
man. Yeah,
right?
I try to.
You are like the head figure as far as. For you're the bar for all the new drivers coming in, because I remember when I first started driving, whoever was talking at the PCM, there was always a seasoned person who had the mic. So they were like the prime example of, hey, this is like the gold standard. Like this is what you're trying to be like, right? So being in that position. You get to see all of the new drivers coming in, right? So how is UPS handling the new drivers coming in? Like, do you think their I don't want to say selection is getting better or worse? Because I know when I first started driving, I know my class of guys that came in, it's like I consider it's like the 92. It's like the dream team.
Was it like that?
It's like the dream team, dog.
Wow.
Every person that came on, because you got me, you got Alan Williams, you got Bobby Chapman, you got Justin
that was
Rudd,
that squad.
You got Jay King, you got
Jay King was in there too.
You got Lamar Glenn, you got it's just straight.
Oh yeah,
it's straight all stars.
Y'all had a squad.
It's straight all stars.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the new guys? Do you see we got a lot of potential all-stars, or because I'm not gonna lie, I've been noticing right. There's a few dudes who I'm like, this dude is legit.
Yeah,
but I have noticed there's a lot of guys coming in now are lacking the mental toughness. Yeah, and I don't know if it's because of their age or maybe the time in which they're starting, but. I definitely do notice there's a difference, in the actual,
I think it's and that's a good question. I think it's a different era, and I don't think it's rare that you'll see a squad like y'all class again. I don't know when you'll see a squad like that. I think a lot of it is they almost got it too easy, man. And it's you can give somebody everything, but you can't give them ambition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can give them all the tools and training, but you can't give them ambition, man.
Right. And I do want to point out. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut
go
you
ahead.
off. But I do want to point out that whole squad I just named. That's Donald Jackson's squad.
That's Donald Jackson's squad.
That's So because I wanted to ask you, do you feel it has something to do with like maybe like how the supervision is handling it,
leadership and all that? Like you knew with Donald, like you knew what he stood for, and he knew he wasn't playing. He was gonna make you like, okay, y'all gonna get this. You know what I mean? You're gonna get this work. And I think some of it it's just like we haven't seen, like it was a couple classes ago that we had a good little squad that came through there. Nothing like y'all's, but it was probably the last one. But other than that, it might be 1 or 2 out of 5 or something that make it, dude. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they just don't got it no more, or they just don't want it, or they're not doing everything they can to get it. But it seems like something we kind of fell off with that a little bit.
So I'm gonna tell you what I think that is. I think that my whole group of guys, when we started, we were doing like I said, I was doing Javier Garcia's route.
Yeah.
Like not even being a year in, that's when I'm gonna have to sit on for 3 weeks, or like. Because your old route on the east side, that wasn't no bitch nigga route. You had to be good,
and that's what Chris Jenkins used to call them grown man routes. You know what I mean? It's some grown man routes.
We were all forced. Every single dude that I named from my class, we were all forced to not only just do those routes, but boy, you better be good at it.
You better be good at it.
You better be good at it.
And I remember Jesse George saying, like early on, he was like, "That's what makes you as a driver. You hate it." But that's like the training you have to go through it, because you're gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? It's gonna break it, and UPS gonna break. I had a saying too. They're gonna break your spine or your soul, whichever one come first. They're gonna break one of them though. One of them's gonna get broke. Yeah. So it's up to you to try to figure it out. You know what I mean? But I think they lack just the mental fortitude or something, man. But it's weird, man. And some cats, like, they didn't try it 2 or 3 times. They come back, they probably get it this time.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's not like, you know how, like, in the movie Rocky, when they went to the gym and he was like, look at them people's eyes. They got the eye of the tiger. You don't see that. It's rare that you see somebody like, yeah, I want it.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then I think they get into it and be like, you know what, I'm cool on this.
And you know why that's hard for me to understand?
Yeah.
Because I can understand being like doing your old route or Javier Garcia's route or even Jesse George's route.
Yeah, that's a hard one too, I heard.
So yeah, for sure. I did Jesse George's route at least 100 times.
A nut kicker.
So I can understand having to do those routes and then be like, all right, this ain't for me. But the route that I do now, that was a training route. My route is up by Arborview High School. I have one of the smoothest routes in the building. It's easily top 5 in the building. Easily top 5. There's no. I said on the last show, there's no reason I should have this route.
Yeah, but you got it. Yeah.
I don't know how it fell to me, but I got it.
You got blessed with it, bro.
Dudes were being trained on this route. I'm like,
yeah.
So I'm like, for number one, this shouldn't be no training route because
you don't see enough. You
don't see enough, and you're not really pushed. To the
you're
limit.
not really. Yeah.
Because doing routes like your old route or Javier's old route, you're pushed mentally, spiritually, physically.
I got to get these. I got to get this so I can get the pickups. I can't fit. It's like all that stuff. That stuff makes you, man. That stuff makes you, dude. Your route is that sweet, man.
Man, it's. Hey, listen. When I take days off, listen.
Cats wanted lined up to do it.
They lined up to do it. Dudes come up to me every day. J.Love, you want to go home, dude? Please let me do your route.
Man.
I'm like, nah, bro. I gotta get some money sometimes.
Yeah, I got to.
I gotta get some money sometimes.
I just now got an all Reggie route, and I stayed away from him for years. Like the other route I had, it seemed like it was hard, but I had it dialed in, and I couldn't get no. Even doing peak, I wouldn't even get 200 stops. But now I got a Reggie route, dude. I'm getting 190 now, so I'm not looking forward to doing 300 stops. Even if you got a helper, dude, that's a lot, man.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Listen, you ain't got to get out the truck during peak season. We ain't got to get out.
That's true.
I'm gonna get out though. I'm gonna get out.
Yeah.
You know why I do that? This is why I do that. Because I jumped with Ed Sutton.
Oh man!
And Ed Sutton was doing 500-600 stops during peak season.
Yeah.
He would get out the truck twice.
Yeah, twice
the whole day.
And he another one that had multiple surgeries and injuries and operations. You know, I remember he smashed the whole truck and they brought him a whole nother truck.
What?
Smashed the whole truck
and just brought him another.
They brought him another truck with another 200-300 stops in, and I'm like, what? But look at him now. Look
you
at
talking
him.
about? You talking about like he would like knock off all those stops and
He
then
would
they
knock off a whole truck,
Yeah,
and they had another one.
Yeah, I was with him. I was with him.
He was jumping
I
with him?
was with him when he was doing that.
God,
I remember being out there with him, and we would do like 250 by like 230, and then
God.
Rubio would drive another truck out there with another 250
50 in it, right.
300 on there.
That's
I'm
insane.
like, shit.
That's
I was like, we
insane,
really about to
bro.
do this right now. And he would just pump me up, like, because you know I'm young and naive.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we got a young man.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and do it.
That's a lot, though, bro.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. A lot of work, man.
But I did it though.
Yeah,
I did it.
yeah.
So okay. So damn, we're going for an hour 20 already.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know, it just flows.
It just-
man. We can
that's-
roll.
that's
Cut it
glorious.
whenever you ready, man.
No, I got a couple more. I got a couple more action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, where do you see this job leading you in life? Like, do you see it? Do you see it helping you to do other things? Because you had mentioned earlier, like, you used like when you were doing timeshares, like to
fund my other
to
stuff.
fund
Yeah,
the other ideas. So do you see UPS as the same thing?
Oh, I seen that too, automatic. I mean, even more. You know what I mean? Because all the stuff I got, you know, it's because I'm able to make this kind of money. You know what I mean? And I think you got to be careful too. You know, not to, you know, get caught up in debt and all that stuff too. You know, trying to bury myself out of that sometimes too. But now I'm looking at the back end of it, like as far as like retirement. You know what I mean? It's like, I think I got like 6 or 7 years before I'm eligible to retire, but you want to be in a position where you can. A lot of people are so front loaded that they can't retire.
Yeah, I've seen
You know
that.
what I mean?
That's something
Like,
that's
they
something I've seen.
man. And so you got to be careful, man, to try to. And I think that's, you know, where it's leading. I'm gonna keep getting the money while I can, and you know, you gotta, you know, pray and just hope that your body lasts.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because your bill's gonna outlive your body if you ain't careful. You know what I
1,000%.
mean? Like to where, like, if anything go wrong and you can't get this money, it changes everything.
Right.
Changes everything, man. So
Yep.
now I'm just looking at the, you know, the other end of it, man. It's like I say, I be wanting to quit, you know, do other stuff, but it's like I got so much time in, I don't want to trick off the pension coming in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Right. I hear a lot of dudes, man. Some of these dudes are my friends, and I hear them say like they just want to do like 10 or 15, and then they just want to like shut it down. And in my mind, I'm like, you already did the 15 or the 10. 15 years ain't really that long because 10 years has flown by.
yeah,
for me.
it go by like dog years, man.
so fast.
Yeah, it go by like dog years.
So I'm like, dude, you just got like another 15 left, and then you're getting paid handsomely for the rest of your life, man.
Yeah.
I don't think like you just knock them 15 out,
Yeah,
man.
unless
Knock them
something else
15
pop,
out.
like I'm trying to get in that all kind. And you know, 'cause like one thing with me with this job is like, is one thing is what you getting, but it's how you getting it too.
Yeah.
I think.
I know what you
know
mean.
what I
I
mean.
know
It's
what you
how
mean.
you getting it. But I gotta like. It's some people making, you know, more than us, not even leaving the house.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it always looks like that. But then, like I say, you got to worry about that back end, that pension. You know what I mean? When you go sit down, man, you want to be able to sit down comfortably.
Very comfortably.
So that's what I'm keeping in the forefront of my mind too, man. You know, to just because like once you leave, it's like you ain't gonna be making the bread. Like you gonna make probably about anywhere from, you know, mid-4 to 5,000 a month when you sit down, from what I understand.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Based on the hours you put in, like that. It's almost like $1,000 a week still, not working.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it like that, man. You know, where it can take me, you know, stuff like that. I want my family to be straight. If something happened to me, like my sacrifice, that's going to go to my wife and my family.
Right.
You know what I mean? My
Right.
pension. So I'm thinking deeper down now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
That's
what I'm looking at.
very important, and that's something like I definitely, when I talk to my OGs that are getting ready to step up out of here, those are more in lines of because I still got 20 to go, so I'm trying to prepare now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it together now,
yeah.
so that because there's been, I could probably name like 10 drivers off the top of my head who could have retired at a like once they were eligible.
Yeah.
But because they didn't quite do it correctly,
You didn't along the way.
Yeah, they didn't. They missed some steps
Yeah,
earlier. They had to
yeah.
end up staying for like an extra 4 or 5.
Right.
So I'm trying to like, okay, well, what did you get wrong? And then like, and this is the dope thing about working here is not only are a lot of the drivers, man, especially like the OG drivers, the vet drivers, they're so goddamn intelligent,
they're knowledgeable,
and the part that I absolutely love about being in this place, that it really has nothing to do with the actual job. It has everything to do with dudes like you and all the other dudes.
It's the camaraderie, the conversation,
and the willingness of you guys to just be like, hey, listen. With all this knowledge I've gained, and my shit is together up top, bro. I'm gonna share it with you. Like, you guys are willing to teach. If it's the right,
I want to pass it on.
I want to
pass it on.
If it's the right person.
If it's the right person.
Because I've noticed too, like, because I talked to a lot of OGs. I'm one of the young dudes where the majority of the guys I like really spend my time talking to are the OGs. Because that's where all the value. Not only because that's where all the value is because you gotta, like, you gravitate towards the things you want to be. You gravitate towards the things that look good to you. The things that you respect most. And you guys totally are like, you guys are the dudes I respect most. You guys
appreciate it.
So I'll talk to you guys, right? And then, like, I get so much, like, so many gems from you guys, so many jewels, and I'm like, why you don't tell this motherfucker right here? What? J.Love, that's a waste of time, bro. So then I've noticed too, you guys have I don't know if it's good or bad, but you guys have tremendous discernment on who you give it to,
right? Because everybody's not, they're not going to absorb it the same, or they might not even want it. You know what I mean? So you really got to pick and choose, like, I want to, feed this cat, and I wish, like, cats was there like that when I was in a position. So I noticed that about you, but that's what makes you knowledgeable. Like, you don't have to go through the mistake to learn the lesson. You can get it from somebody else. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm not going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Cats putting money away. Cat, doing this and doing that. Some cats, I ain't putting no money in the 401k. I ain't did this. I ain't did that. I'm like, you got time, bro. Just let it work for you. You know what I mean? Let it work for you, man.
So I know a lot of people, like, they come, like, see me and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, J.Love, I didn't know you live. I didn't know. I knew you was right, but I didn't know you live kind of well." Just because, motherfucker, I've been listening. I've been listening this whole time.
The whole time,
The whole time.
Smart.
People been like telling me, like, I'm not just taking, like, that's what I mean earlier when I said. The three valuable things I got from fucking college. One of the main things was credit and sources. I'm not just listening to anybody up in there. So I can tell which OGs in there are actually smart, which ones are supremely intelligent. I can tell who's got their shit together. And those are the ones, like, bro, I value what you got to say, because I can see how your life, like, without you even knowing me, just your life. You existing was here for the benefit of me.
For the benefit, right.
It's like
the path they laid. You know what I mean?
Just you living your life was a supreme example for me. You didn't know nothing about me,
right?
But everything, just you existing, was boom, J.Love. When you look in the mirror, you want to see something like this.
See something like it, right?
You want to see something like that.
And cats gonna be coming to you like that.
I know.
Just think how much knowledge you get. Like, you gonna be like, you didn't got it from like 10 or 20 different, you gonna be so, they gonna be coming to you like, but every conversation, like, you pick and choose. Some guys, they want to, shoot the shot or whatever and BS. I like talking about real things though. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I mean, I can do that too to a small extent, but, like, I'm trying to gain some knowledge. You know what I mean? I'm trying to sharpen my sword, man. You know what I mean? Financially, mentally, whatever. Okay, I didn't know you did. Oh, you invest in that? You know what I mean?
One thing I've learned as I'm getting older, and my dad told me this a long time ago. Excuse me. My dad told me this a long time ago, but he was like, if you didn't learn anything today, you're the same. That's true. You haven't gotten better. You're just how long are you gonna stay the same, Jonathan? That's what he would tell me. He was like, son, like, if you're not learning, then you're just going to continue to be the same person. So if you're going to continue to be the same person, and this is why, like, I'm really a fan of sports, because you learn so much during the adversity of sports. You're constantly in a position to where you have to learn something if you want to get better. So then you can take that and apply that into your regular life. So
I totally agree.
So you got to think about, like how I'm trying to do with, my show here and the business I'm starting with my show. I have to learn something as often as possible because I'm competing. How many shows
because you're competing, right?
How many shows are there?
How can
I
stand out? How can I?
All of that.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah,
all of that.
Yeah. It's all, but learning is fun too, man.
Yeah,
you
very much
absorbing the game. I look at it like I got another book too, man, the Mamba mentality. But if you look at Kobe's whole life, it was all about learning. Mm-hmm. He started early, and he said by the time he got to the league, he was already so far advanced,
right?
Because he had been his regimen, his training regimen, and he would talk to Jordan, he would talk to Eddie Jones, he would talk to everybody, and they couldn't understand why he got so good. But then after a while, you could see the separation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because he kept learning, he kept practicing and stuff like that. So I think that's key and critical in anything you do, man.
And all the new drivers who listen to this, or if you've been with the company for a little bit. I want you guys to really listen to because something real valuable is being said. People are here to help, and it's not like you trying to kiss people's ass or nothing like that. It's the same thing as what D. Foster just said. Kobe, a great, is asking Jordan. He's asking people who he looks up to. You can't be too prideful.
You can't be too prideful
to just like how I was saying with U.P.S. You can't hate greatness.
You can't.
So if you see something that's great, you gotta have it within you to be able to. Well, I think it's a skill to know how to humble yourself down and be like, "Hey, can you please teach me?" Because I'm ignorant of what it is that I'm trying to get.
Right.
So
all day.
And the more you can get comfortable with doing that, you'll learn not only does it make you better, as a person, but the friendships that you get out of
the
it,
bonds you make,
are
they're priceless, bro.
Priceless. The
Yeah.
people who you get to call in life friends is crazy. You be like, dang, dude, I got friends that are 20 years older.
People
than
that you can call. People that got 20 years. That's a lot of experience, man.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So new drivers, man, soak it up. You got to learn, and I tell them too, man. It's a lot to learn at one time, but a lot of it has to come to you. You know what I mean? You can't, it's like eating an elephant. I got to eat it one bite at a time. I can't eat the whole thing, but a lot of it has to come to you, man.
You live life forwards, but understand it backwards.
Right.
Absolutely. That's a real statement.
Absolutely,
okay.
Man.
So, last one. D. Foss, how does it feel, man, for you knowing that you became an extremely successful person in life? I don't know if you always saw it for yourself since you were young, like in, middle school, elementary school, high school. I don't know if you've seen it for yourself, but when it comes down to it, man, you became an extremely successful person in life.
I appreciate it.
How does that sit with you, man? How does that feel? Is that something you ever sit back and think about? You sitting back smoking a cigar, God damn it, I did good for myself.
Sometimes, man, it's like twofold. Sometimes I looked at I'm just going. I'm just still going. Sometimes I looked at I ain't did enough. I was ready to pull the plug on everything. So I look at it different sometimes, but I just looked at it like I just kept going, man. People who look at, oh man, you still. I'm like, bro, I just never stopped. I just never stopped. You know what I mean? Whatever I kept learning, it was like, I remember Nipsey said too, man, it's like you build you put one brick a day on it. Pretty soon you're gonna have that wall.
That's also another one of my favorite dudes. And he said, the most important thing that I ever did was I just didn't quit.
Right.
And I'm noticing that because I'm just now coming to grips with the fact that I'm young and I'm a successful young dude.
Successful and you young, man. You ahead of the curve, bro.
And I'm coming to figure out well, how the fuck do we maintain this shit right here? Well, you have to just keep going. You can't quit.
Right.
And it can't be something where it's like, okay, I'm successful, and then boom, you get to just lay
fall
it down.
back. You
That's
can't.
not
man.
what it is.
You can't. You don't got time for that, man. And it's I got another little podcast clip I did. It's a little segment, but it's small and it's on momentum, right? And I say, momentum is hard to get, but it's easy to lose. You can lose it just like that. After all that momentum you done built up, and as soon as you fall back, I had Cash that we came up together, in music, we was producing together, and so he quit. He just stopped doing it or whatever. Then 10, 15, 20 years later, he said, oh man, I want to get back in the game. Dude, look how much momentum you lost. You're not going to get that back, bro. You know what I mean? So I just keep going, man. I appreciate cats that latch on, that listen, that lock in with me, man. And it's just something. It's like breathing to me. It's just something I always, stuff I was always interested, man. I just try to keep it pushing, and then you got to find ways to evolve and reinvent yourself and keep yourself fresh too, man.
Yep.
But the main thing, like you say, is learning. Somebody got the answers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
1,000%.
Somebody got the answers, man.
Because one of the things that I do know is, unless somebody has like an original idea for something, like for instance, so me doing this show, millions of people have shows already. I'm not creating anything new. There's new things within the thing that already exists.
Yeah.
But the format and the formula already exists. Though.
Yeah.
So go learn from the successful ways that it's already been done, but then just tweak it to yourself.
Tweak it to yourself. Yeah.
So
you're right.
That's one thing I've learned. A lot of the things that people want to do have already been done.
Yeah, somebody's done it.
Somebody's done it.
Yeah.
So just go learn.
Somebody done made the mistakes and showed the way. You're right. But I like it because you got a niche, man. I'm like, ooh, when I seen that, I'm like, never thought about that.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean.
Also, it comes from, man, like being on the phone, talking to dudes all day.
Everybody
like,
got a story.
Yeah, I'm like I'll be on the phone, I'll be talking to Taurus and Wilborn, and they'll say something that just happened. I'm like, dude, if like everybody should hear what just happened right now.
Yeah,
because
you won't believe this, man. Especially Wilborn. Wilborn's like he got a gang of stories, man.
Listen, he's supposed to be coming on next week.
Is he? Okay, that's gonna be big.
He has a story every time I talk to him.
Every time.
And
It's
incredible.
He do. He sure do. That'll be a good episode. Good episode,
man.
Definitely, man.
So, Default, do you have any projects that you have that you want to plug?
Not really, man. I got the Defaults podcast, which is my personal podcast. You can find it on Spotify. The video version's on YouTube. I got the Streets of Vegas. You know what I mean? That you know about that. So I'm still working on that. That's about it, man. I got nothing really on the back burner right now. I'm just kind of marinating right now and really got nothing out. Everything, you want to find out about me is at davidmfoster3.com. So you can check in with me on that. You know what I mean?
And I'm going to get with you so I can put links to all of that in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll send you that. I'll definitely send you that. So other than that, man, just trying to keep pushing, man, and keep living, man. The one thing, I say, man, is like life. It's like we only know how much time has passed. We don't know how much is left.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's true. That's
you
true.
know what I mean? That's all we know is we don't know what the clock is. You know what I mean? So, when they say born on and die on, I don't want to be whatever, but life is that little dash.
Yep. That's crazy.
You know what I mean? That little dash, man. So I'm just trying to, keep it pushing, man, and leave a mark, man, before I get up out of here, dog. You know what I mean? But I appreciate you having me on the show, man. Good conversation. I know we went a little long, but if it's flowing, man, it's flowing.
I'm glad it went longer. And truth be told, I only asked you like 5 questions.
Yeah, but it's the other stuff. Yeah. We just get into the other stuff.
Man. And, Defaults, I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely,
and
bro.
For sure, please come back.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Again,
yeah.
All right?
We can have a whole nother subject or something. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Good chop up, my brother.
For sure. Everybody, thank you for listening, and we will be back with you again soon.
The drop off.
Yes, sir.